Agent Marty signing in. So should you upgrade to Windows 10 or should you just stick with Windows 7 or whatever version of Windows you have? Typically for a video like this, I talk about and explain the reasons, but I figured that it would actually be more fun if I just pulled up the highlights of my Windows 10 experience. So here we go with 10 reasons they should or shouldn't upgrade to Windows 10. So number 1. So I bought this computer from Best Buy about 2 years ago, or probably more than that. So it came with Windows 10 pre-installed, activated, and everything was all set up just the way it was all set up. And I didn't have to activate or anything like that. And what's this? We have a little watermark in the corner here saying activate Windows. Go to settings to activate Windows. So it appears that by some weird strange glitch of some kind, my Windows 10 has been deactivated. So let's go take a look at the settings. Let's not turn a blind eye to this. Let's just take a look at what Microsoft's talking about. So that makes it really nice and easy. So in settings, there's this nice little link here that'll take us where we should activate Windows. We can't activate Windows right now. You can try activating later or go to the store to buy genuine Windows. So despite the fact that I've paid for and activated a genuine Windows 10 Home, I'm going to have to re-buy Windows 10 Home. Here's an old screenshot I've pulled up and took a while back. That was telling me my antivirus is out of date. Tap or click to update Windows Defender antivirus. I'm actually not too worried about this. So it's because like 6 months ago when I reset my Windows 10 back to factory because well that was different Windows 10 glitch. We'll get more on that later. But when I had to reset it and everything. So after about I don't know, it's just 10 minutes into getting everything all set up, and then also this little thing Windows Defender pops up and says there's a virus attached. This virus is called ByteFence from a software company called ByteFence. Okay, I'm not saying ByteFence is a bad company. Just the version of ByteFence that I got, it was not safe at all. So it tells that there's keyloggers, keygens, known hacking tools associated with this program. So I take a look at the history of where exactly that app came in from. And Microsoft, they force downloaded without my consent or without my permission, without me even knowing that was going on. They force downloaded a virus onto my machine. Doesn't even look like Cortana's even there. But, more details. We click that. And, there we go. There's some Cortana action going on there. And we can see that Cortana is taking up 50 megabytes of my RAM usage. Easy enough. Right click and task. And then, boom, it's gone. We're good. Not for long. Cortana comes right back. So then we're thinking, well, it's probably meant to be running all the time. So maybe we should just go to the open file location. Aha. So here we go. Here's a nest egg of Cortanas. So you can see I've got them nicely labeled and everything. Here's Cortana 0.1, 0.2, and I'm following through all the way to 0.8 and down to the Cortana I'm currently using. And if we take a little closer look, we realize that one of these folders is actually a hidden folder. Why it's hidden, we don't really know, making me very suspicious. I mean, not just very, but very, very suspicious of what exactly Cortana's hiding from me. So this is the source of the problem. This is where the Cortana's living. So if we boot Cortana out, we're going to boot everything with Cortana out, right? So we can't just delete it for some reason. You hit that delete button, and of course it's going to say, give that classical folder access denied. And then you hit continue, of course, to get your administrative permissions. But you don't need administrative permissions. You need permission from the trusted installer. We can see where this leads. It's kind of one of those rabbit holes that goes nowhere. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. If it can't find the folder, then it probably can't use the folder. So let's try renaming it. So we're going to right click, and then you should see rename. We're going to click that. And now, we can rename this. So I'm going to name this here. I'm just going to add it to the rest of the family here, keeping up with the tradition of 0.9. And then I'm just going to hit enter. And the screen's blacking out saying, are you really sure you want to do that? And I'm saying, yeah, of course I do. So this folder is being used currently by Cortana. So what we do is very quickly, of course, we end Cortana and quickly try again. And boom, Cortana's done. But is Cortana really done? So now I'm going to restart my computer to make sure that Cortana's good and gone. So I'll be back in a second. See you on the other side. Okay, so we're back after the restart. Now let's see if Cortana's going. I've got the test manager bookmarked right here. And note, we see that Cortana is not going at all. So that's all good. But this is where the plot gets thick, as they say. So we take a look at our start menu, which now is not a start menu. It's a grayed out start menu, which is a big difference. So we can scroll and do everything we try to do. And of course, we can resize it. But we cannot use the start menu. And why this is I think it's because I can't find Cortana so it can't use the start menu, because the start menu is so integrated into Cortana that's forcing you to use Cortana whether you like it or not. Almost, except Microsoft didn't take into account one thing, and that's that I've bookmarked almost every single thing that I could possibly use onto this little taskbar right here. So I'm actually pretty happy with all my start menus. And at number 4, we have Windows 10 Internet. So after my whole family and I upgraded to Windows 10, we had about 5 Windows 10s all running at the same time. We noticed that our internet bill jumped up like $10. $10 a month more. But follow me down the rabbit hole. We're gonna prepare to have your mind blown by Microsoft. Alright, so we're gonna want to go to settings, and under settings you should see this network and internet. So you're gonna want to go there. And after that, you're going to see a whole bunch of options. The one we're interested in here is data usage. You want to click that. And then this will tell you how much you've used in the last 30 days. So I've used 2 gigabytes in the last 30 days. And in the last month, I've moved, I do pretty much 90% of my stuff on Linux now. So this little link here is where you get the dirt from Microsoft. So you want to click View Usage Details. And this tells you who and what is using your system. So let's have a look here. Coming in at number 1 is the system taking 1.7 gigabytes. That is 70% more than my actual Firefox browser. The system, the updates, and telemetry is using more internet than my actual browsing. So one system taking 1.7 gigabytes of your internet, that's bad enough. But down here, it gets better. We have another system taking more of your internet. So we have 2 systems at the same time taking up your already pretty shaky internet connection country bandwidth. Well, that's okay then. If I know I'm getting the very best of the spyware and telemetry, that's okay. I'm fine with 2 systems running. But I'm not okay with is Cortana. So with all this telemetry and updates going on in the background, it starts to take a toll on your internet. Please examine the following photo right here. So this is a photo of my brother's computer in a specific location. In this exact location, my brother receives 0 internet with Windows 10. Okay, so Quentin has moved his computer over by 1 foot. Quentin now receives a limited connection with Windows 10. But this would not be a science experiment if we didn't have a control group. So, Quentin installed Linux on this computer. Linux can handle, at this location, no problem, internet all the time. And at this location. So you take careful location. Here, no internet. Here, yes, internet. But for Linux, it can handle here, here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or way over there. I wonder why my internet's taking so long. This is abnormally long. Okay, there we go. Let's manage to Google. Let's just go to YouTube. Oh, that explains it. Windows 10 is undergoing downloading some updates. 1%. Look at this. The updates. They're going faster than my YouTube connection. Okay, here we go. We're loading some standard HTML code here. Oh, one word. Dial-up. Look at that. It's just... Have any of you guys ever had dial-up before? Bring back any memories of the... Microsoft's made it to 2% complete for their updates, and we haven't even finished loading all of the YouTube webpage. Wait, no, maybe it's not the updates. Maybe it's because I have 50 apps all downloading in the background. I mean, 50 apps downloading. Clearly, Microsoft never learned anything from the school fire drills. If there's one thing I learned in public school, it's how to do a fire drill. Single file, one at a time, not 50 going at the same time in a free-for-all choking your internet to a crawl. This wouldn't be a forced download without the good old Candy Crush Soda Sega joining on in too. If I didn't know what dial-up was before, I think I know what dial-up was now. You just type out all this interesting information. Okay, yeah, that's Windows, ignore that. But it's basically like another language. You just give all these instructions to the computer, and using all these instructions, these computer will thus generate all this interesting stuff, which then goes down to Windows, can you leave me alone for 5 minutes? 5 minutes! Now, as I was saying, that really makes you lose your train of thought. So anyways, all that... This working condition isn't unworkable. So these games, programs, and apps are all created using programming languages. So what a programming language is basically like... Windows, just leave me alone. Thank you. 5 minutes, Windows. 5 minutes. No, continue without scanning. Thank you. What was going on with my USB? I don't know. I feel like doing some gaming in a quick second here. So I'm gonna load up Stronghold Crusader because that was a classic. This game worked just fine on Windows 7, and also worked just fine on Windows 8, so it should work all good on Windows 10. Let's open her up. Dun-da-da. And the application was unable to start correctly. Error code. Click OK to close the application. Alright, well, let's try. I've heard that if you troubleshoot the compatibility, it'll work A-OK. Detecting issues, resolving issues, sounds promising. Let's try the recommended settings. Test the program, and the program was unable to start correctly. Okay. And next. No, these did not work. Try again. This program, yes, that's the problem. The program worked in earlier versions of Windows, but won't install or run now. Next. Which program did this work on? Well, I know for sure it worked on Windows 7, so I'll go with that. Next. Test the program. The application was unable to start correctly again, even though it's set in compatibility mode for Windows 7. But this wouldn't be quite so sad of a story here if this hadn't worked on Linux. And then Wine Windows program loaders, which you're going to want to use. So this will work for MSI installers and all that. So for the most part, I mean, it's not a perfect system, but it works pretty dang good from what I've seen. So we're going to go open it with that, and we'll see if this actually does work. So it is opening. This graphics, yeah, it's a small little tiny little screen, but this isn't really Wine's fault. It's just because I haven't got my graphics driver updated yet, so I still need to do that. So this is actually quite amazing that this Windows program runs on Linux Mint. Number 7, we have Telemetry. With Windows 10, there's Telemetry that goes on all the time in the background, which basically it collects the data of which apps you use and which programs you use, and it sends all that to Microsoft, so Microsoft can provide more relevant ads. So if you're in the country like me, like we are, it might throttle your internet down to a really shaky connection for yourself because of all the telemetry that's going on. And if you want something that's extremely private and you don't want people to know what you're doing on the computer, then I would suggest sticking with something like Windows 7, because with Windows 7 there's no telemetry or any of that stuff. You are in control of the computer. But if you don't mind having some telemetry going on in the background, or you don't mind if Microsoft knows what you're up to, well, that's okay. Then of course I'd upgrade to Windows 10. And at number 8, we have glitches and freeze-ups. With Windows 10, my dad had been using Windows 10 for about 2 years. By the second year, his PC had slowed down to the crawl until eventually it just completely froze up. So then he couldn't use the taskbar or anything like that. So and his whole start menu just was completely gone. So eventually we tried to troubleshoot it to the best we could, but we couldn't get it to work. So eventually we just had to reset it back to factory. When you compare Windows 7, the amount of bugs, to something like Windows 10, with Windows 7, the first year, it was a little bit rocky with bugs and glitches, but by the end of the first year, they cleaned up most of them, and it was kind of smooth sailing from there. With Windows 10, the glitches, I'm still having the same glitches that I had 2 years ago today. So some of the Microsoft employees were saying that this is going to be the last Windows there is, and they're just going to keep upgrading and updating Windows 10. If that's their plan, I would suggest that they probably should get a few of these glitches cleaned up here. I mean, my opinion is that there's going to be something like Windows 11, because they haven't really cleaned up too many of the glitches from what I've seen. So there's got to be, they're probably focusing a lot of the resources on a new Windows that's kind of hush-hush, top secret. And at number 9, we have updates. With Windows 10, the updates are forced download a lot of times without your knowledge that's going on and without your consent. So you can actually take a look here that I've got an update that I'm trying to avoid right now, so you can at least just get this video finished up here. So I don't think that the updates can come if you're not connected to the internet. And I know this is a common issue that's happening to a lot of people here. They'll be in the middle of something like banking, and then all of a sudden like an update just pops up saying, we're going to update a quick second here, which it's extreme inconvenience to the person if they're in the middle of banking. At least if there's a button, just click and say click later, something later. They just want to get their banking finished. And maybe those, if we're up to me, I just save my updates to the weekend, because on the weekend I don't need to put out any of these videos. It's very inconvenient, and it's actually kind of annoying, because a lot of times I've been in the middle of doing a video and all of a sudden the frame rate just gets stuck with my hand like this. I'm like, wonder where that is. So I take a look at the updates, and what do we know? Windows Update is in the middle of updating. So at the end of the day, I guess we all something to laugh at the new Windows 10 glitch. But should you upgrade to Windows 10? If you're on something like Windows 7, I'd advise you just stick it out with Windows 7, and whatever you do, do not get rid of that Windows 7. I would wait until there's something like maybe Windows 11 coming out, because right now, Windows 10 for me has personally just been a nightmare. Maybe a lot of these glitches are unique, but I know that at least a few of these have been a widespread problem going on with Windows 10. If you have already upgraded to Windows 10 and a lot of the stuff is probably getting on your skin, well, it gets under my skin, I suggest that for like $100 you can pick up a brand new hard drive, and then with that hard drive you can download Linux Mint for free. Linux Mint Cinnamon, that is, and then you just install it onto the hard drive, and then for doing stuff like web surfing and programming and creating documents and doing stuff like that, then just use Linux for that. And if you want to do some gaming and you need to record, do videos and stuff like that, then I'll just stick with Windows 10 for that. But I don't really care whatever I use. All that matters to me is it gets the job done the fastest with the least amount of frustration, and it has the nicest appeal to it. And right now, Linux, for 90% of my work, gets the job done the fastest. But with recording, I do have to stick with Windows, because with Linux, it just takes too long to export. Like, it takes an hour just to export a 5-minute video. Which, now I admit that it does take a while to learn Linux and get used to Linux, but after it's, at least when you're building up your little castle, someone isn't kicking it over every 5 seconds, so you know that the progress you make on it, it's going to be there for life. With Linux, all the updates, you choose if you want the update, and if you do want the update, before you get the update, you can basically make a copy of your system, so that in the event that something goes wrong in the update, you can just load it back to the way things were before you updated. I think that someday Windows 10 will be referred to as the Windows Me, but at this point, I don't know. When Windows Me looks kind of tempting. So the other day, we got lucky and we scored a Windows 7 Pro in a little small town computer shop. So we got that baby tucked away in the safe with the Windows XP installation disk too. I'm in no way an anti-Windows hater or something like that. I mean, Windows 7, I loved that Windows 7. It was the same with Windows XP. They're beautiful, awesome operating systems. Even Vista. A lot of people say that they couldn't stand Vista for some reason, but I never really had an issue with Vista. Vista worked. I don't think I've ever actually had much of a bug with Vista either. So those were all Windows operating systems that I'd gladly stick with them. If Microsoft would just sell them to the common user, they'd probably make more money that way than trying to push this new Windows 10 thing that is honestly a one buggy sinking ship, if you ask me. But of course, the decision is always up to you if you should downgrade to Windows 10 or not. Well, unless Microsoft forces you to downgrade to Windows 10. But in that case, for the 3 months after you downgrade to Windows 10, you can actually upgrade back to Windows 7 for the past 3 months if you had Windows 7 originally. If you guys have any thoughts, questions, or comments, leave that down in the comment section. And thank you for subscribing. I'll see you next video. Agent Marty out.